I'm specifically speaking to us and about who we are and how do you maintain the sense of self while pushing it forward and holding us to have a responsibility for our actions. Mm-hmm. Because in America, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. And there's a solution for us. If we had a power base together, it would be a much different conversation than me having a conversation by myself and trying to change America by myself. Mm-hmm. If I come with 40 million people, it's a different conversation, right? It's just how it works. I can affect change and get whomever in office because this many people, we're all on the same page, right? So as a conversation, it's like, I'm not rich, I'm OJ. For us to get in that space and then disconnect from the culture, that's how it starts. This is what happens. And then you know what happened? You're on your own and you see how that turned out. You have to educate your children on the world as it exists today and how it got to that space. But my child doesn't need the same tools that I needed growing up. I needed certain tools to survive my area that my child doesn't need. They're growing up in a different environment. But also they have to know their history, have a sense of what it took to get to this place and have compassion for others. The most important thing, I think, out of all this is to teach compassion and to identify with everyone's struggle and to know these people made these sacrifices for us to be where we are and to push that forward for us. I believe that's the most important thing to show them because they don't have to know things that I knew growing up, like being tough. They'll be who they are, right? And it's just certain tools that you would hope for your child to have. You know, like, again, fairness and compassion and like empathy and a loving heart. And those things translate in any environment. Those are the main base things that you want. Well, for me, I would want my child to have. You know, to treat people as they are, no matter who they are, no matter where they sit in the world. Not to like be super nice to someone at a high position or mean to someone who they deem to be below them. I can't buy you love. I can't show it to you. I can show you affection and I can, you know, I can express love, but I can't put it in your hand. I can't put compassion in your hand. I can't show you that. So the most beautiful things are things that are invisible. That's where the important things lie. I think when you make music, you want people to hear it and hear different things, and then you want it to start a dialogue because that's how we get to understand it. Oh, you felt that way about it. This is actually what I meant because this happened and these things happened that led to me saying this specific thing. What's the sense of being successful, you know, if you can't still be yourself? You know, I thought the worst thing was to be successful is to be successful as someone else. Imagine being that. Imagine like putting an image out there that's not really you and then it being really successful. You know, then you have to live up to that every day. That's, you know, and I never wanted to be that. And I certainly don't want to be the guy who gets successful and then just pulls away and just, you know, I can't go out. I can't have a bite to eat. I can't, you know, walk to the store. I can't. Nah, that's not going to happen. You know, I'm not going to allow that to happen.
As we prepare to absorb more of the wisdom and inspiration that he will undoubtedly impart on us, let us open our minds and hearts and souls. Let us embrace the extraordinary journey of Jay-Z and allow his words to ignite our own potential, to dare greatly, and to create our own legacy of greatness.
First of all, I'm always, I'm constantly curious and always trying to evolve as a human being. Right, that's one thing, trying to learn myself and learn my faults and learn the things I don't like and learn, you know, whatever insecurities that we have as human beings. Like, that's one. And two, I'm just like a real person. I've always been like, you know, I came into this music business at 26 years old. I was a fully developed man at that point. I had lived so much life and been through so much, you know, at that age that I didn't have anything to prove. I didn't have anything to prove. I knew exactly who I was. I grew so much from the experience. But I think the most important thing I got is that everything is connected. Every emotion is connected and comes from somewhere. And just being aware of it in everyday life puts you at such an advantage. You know, you realize that, you know, if someone's racist toward you, it's not even about you. It ain't about you. It's about their upbringing and what happened to them and how they led them to this point. You know, most bullies bully. It's happened. Oh, you got bullied as a kid, so you're trying to bully me. I understand.
Right.
And once I understand that, instead of reacting to that with anger, I can provide a softer landing. And maybe, oh man, are you okay? I was just saying, there was a lot of fights in our neighborhood that started with, what you looking at? Why you looking at me? You looking at me? And then you realize, oh, you think I see you. You're in the space where you're hurting and you think I see you, so you don't want me to look at you. And you don't want me to see you in such a vulnerable, you don't want me to see your pain. You know, so you put on this shell of this tough person that's really willing to fight me and possibly kill me because I looked at you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so knowing that and understanding that changes life completely.
Was that a moment that came from therapy?
Yeah, just realizing that, oh my goodness, these young men coming from they're just in pain. But you got to survive. So you go into survival mode. And when you go into survival mode, what happened? You shut down.
Right.
You shut down all emotions.
Right.
So even with women, you got shut down emotionally, so you can't connect. And then now all the things happen from there. That's who I am. And I've done it from the beginning of my career. Two things, you know, one, no one knew the characters, so it wasn't as impactful, you know, and two, it wasn't coming from a place that was as evolved. And it's very difficult. You know, it's hard. It's hard to hear songs back. It's hard to perform songs. But I feel it's the most important work that I've done, and I'm very proud of it. And the effect that it's having on people. And even like the studio sessions, you know, we were having 4-hour conversations after playing one song. I learned so much about people that was around me, just my friends. I learned things about them that I didn't know that in 20-year relationship just from this one song. So I know it would have that sort of impact beyond myself. It's my responsibility as an artist to go to these places. You can't sacrifice others for your life. You know, there's a karmic debt that has to be paid. Had I had the level of consciousness then that I have now, things would have turned out differently. And just knowing that, I definitely want everyone to know that it's okay to think. It's okay to be smart. You know, there's a time where people was like, you talking white. It's like, what does that even mean? And I know words. Intelligence is not a tribute to color. And I'm sure you've heard it growing up many times. You're speaking white. Like, what? Speaking like I know words. And it's okay. It's fine. You know, so I have an obligation to further the conversation in all ways. You know, our stature in America, our emotional maturity, and so on and so forth. It's humbling at the same time. It's like, you know, it's what you've been charged with in life. And I believe since the beginning of time, the poets have been charged with that. Like it was the poets that's explaining the emotions and making these songs that people are like, oh, that's what I feel. The best place in the, you know, hurricane is like in the middle of it. We were sitting in the eye of that hurricane. Maybe not use hurricane because so many people are being affected right now, but the best place is right in the middle of the pain. And that's where we were sitting, and it was uncomfortable. And we had a lot of conversations. See themselves. The hardest thing is seeing pain on someone's face that you caused and then have to deal with yourself. So you don't, most people don't want to do that. You don't want to look inside yourself. And so you walk away.